so much potential as a Walter. Oh, there it is. There's a shot. Now he's got, oh, he's giving up the takedown.
Two schools as they host the Oregon Ducks here this afternoon. Greetings and welcome inside Wells Fargo Arena. This is Alex Gallen. And for Arizona State, it is a very...
Oh, there you are, America. We were just talking about you. Hey, how have you been? Let me ask you a question. Would you consider your goodness Sun Devil-y enough? Because if not, we're about to give you a boost in that particular department. I'm Cuyler, he's Trey. Let's get to the sports.
Arizona State versus Oregon State last night in Tempe. Early on, Jahi Carson pulls back for the jumper. It's splash. Early on with a nice play. McKissick now going to drive through, hand it off to Baczynski, who comes up with the big-time layup. Baczynski might be coming up with some awards later on.
Spoiler alert.
As right there, Roberto Nelson with a nice play. This time he's blocked, though.
In your face.
Blockchinski, they like to call him. And now the handoff going to be to Eric Moorhead. Nice little dish there for the dunk for Moorhead. But now things are starting to get exciting as you see Blockchinski comes up with a block late in regulation, only 30 seconds remaining. And now Roberto Nelson only has 20 seconds on the clock to tie it, and he gets it.
He's good.
ASU now with a chance to win it. Jahi at the buzzer. No good. We're heading to overtime. Early on in the overtime period, Bo Barnes gets the ball. Will he finish? Yes, he does.
Barnes.
And the foul. As now a crucial turnover for Oregon State, and that might just do the deal, but let's see if ASU can get something going. The Danish dagger right there as Jonathan Gilling puts it away and ends this game. ASU comes up with the 86-82 victory in overtime over Oregon State. The victory came behind performances from its big three of Jahi Carson, Jermaine Marshall, and of course, Jordan Baczynski. His 7 blocks in last night's game were very special, and we'll tell you why later on in the show. Carson and Marshall combined for 48 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. For Oregon State, Roberto Nelson led the charge, 26 points, 4 assists on the game. Eric Moreland, game high, 17 boards for the Beavers.
That's too many boards.
It probably is. As much as I love the sport of basketball, though, I'm just no expert. But fortunately for you, we've got a couple of those hanging around right now, somewhere around here. Jason Chesler, Cameron Neely can tell you everything you need to know about Jahi Carson and this ASU Hoops team.
Thanks a lot, Trey. Jason Chesler here, joined by the analytical Mamba, Cameron Neely. And today we're talking about, well, what a lot of people love to talk about when it comes to ASU hoops, point guard Jahi Carson and his draft stock.
So what I hear you asking me, Jason, is do I think Jahi Carson is league ready?
No, Cameron, I'm very specifically not asking you that. What I am asking you about, though, is the fact that, well, we live in a what have you done for me lately kind of world. So tell me, Cameron, what has Jahi Carson done for his draft stock recently?
All right, well, in that case, Joey, let's go ahead and throw up the graphic on the screen. So what we see here is over the last couple games, Jahi Carson has really picked it up. He's had a sense of urgency after he had what he graded a D grade couple games from Creighton, really to the first couple of in-conference games against U of A and UCLA. You see the turnovers have still been a problem, but he kind of picked it up against OSU last night. But really, his points have improved, and he's improving his play overall.
So Jahi Carson improving in the grade book. But you know, Cameron, it's not his grades that he has to worry about when it comes to the NBA draft in June. It's the rest of his NBA draft class. Cameron, how does Jahi stack up against the best of the rest of the nation?
Well, we don't live under a rock, Jason. We also obviously know about Andrew Wiggins, Julius Randle, but his position class is also very good. Shabazz Napier, Marcus Smart, Keith Appling, and there's also players like Aaron Kraft and Chris Jones of Louisville who have also been up and down like he is. But all in all, he's really picked it up, as we just mentioned, and he's going to set himself professionally and his team for the tournament in the correct spot.
So a tough class. Cameron, now's when you would earn your money, if we got paid, that is. It's time for you to be prophetic about Jahi's. Tell me, Cameron, where will Jahi go, or won't he go at all, in the 2014 NBA draft?
Jason, Jahi's going to get drafted at the end of the first round. It's just going to be that simple. That's where really the contenders look to put together the last couple puzzle pieces for their masterpiece, and that's where he really can thrive right now as a backup point guard. Maybe your Knicks will trade up, get a pick. He'll get picked for them because we know they're in shambles. All in all, he's going to get that guaranteed money at the end of the first round and get picked.
So you heard it here first, that guaranteed currency. You know the squad can always use that. Thanks a lot, Cameron. Now, let's send it back to the guys with guaranteed airtime. That's the Anchors.
The men's hoops teams has aims on the national tournament, but one team is basically a lock for the postseason, the softball team. New head coach at the helm was ready for action in last night's season openers as they're 7th in the country to start the season, Cuyler, and it looks like they may actually be under the radar.
If it's possible for a team like this, there's no doubt. But, new coach. The reality is there's really no telling how far this team can go, Trey. And we're going to talk about that more later on in the show. But I'll just tell you, when I spoke with head coach Craig Nicholson earlier this week, I asked him who he thought was ready to take the next step and out of all the players that he highlighted, he said Alex Johnson and Amber Freeman. Both super duper stars.
Probably good answers.
No, well, certainly, but he said they were ready to get even better, take it to that next level. They've won awards already, so that doesn't tell you where this team might be going. I don't know what will. You can see Sun Devils took care of business last night. Their opening doubleheader, Dallas Escobedo had a one-hit shutout in the front end. Mackenzie Popescu gave up a few more hits, got out of a little bases-loaded jam, but protected the plate just as efficiently. Those two are going to be a dynamic pair this season. Great chance for Sun Devil Nation to check out this team tonight, by the way. They'll take on their toughest opponent of this Kajikawa Classic.
That's not saying much, though.
Well, North Carolina State, they've received preseason top 25 votes. Not enough top preseason top, but they're in the conversation.
They're getting there. They get a little booby prize for participation.
So that's really the highlight of the tournament for Sun Devil. So tune in to Pac12.com's digital stream. Here, our good friend Carrie Crowley and the whole WCSN crew is going to bring you that game live tonight at 7:30. Well, yet more women of consequence representing the Tempe Normal School were in action this week as ASU took on rival Arizona on the hardwood. Arizona started strong, but ASU took over. You can see there Joy Burke using her size, dominating down low. They were really committed to the outside shot. Deja Mann, you can see, 1 of 2 from downtown. They ended up 6 of 19. Arizona stuck around. You can see there Candace Worthen with her only field goal of the night. She was 1 for 10. Tough one. Then the big dish there to Erica Barnes, who finished with 8 points. Alicia Davis here off the miss, dominating down low. And, Sophie Bruner owning the glass. Got the foul, 8 rebounds. Time for celebration. Charlie Turner-Thorne has this team at 20 wins. Last season, only 13. So another win for the Sun Devils. They seem to be rolling toward a strong seed in the national tournament. Arizona still struggling. We've got women's basketball experts, Josh Franz, Zach Pocklett back in studio. Tell us all about Charlie's Devils. Guys?
Thanks, Cuyler. He's Zach Pocklett. I'm Josh Franz, and it's time to talk some ASU women's basketball. The Sun Devils are currently 11th in the nation, soon to move up into that top 10. But for now, they look to move forward. The tournament just a couple weeks away. Zach, where do you see them being seeded going into the tournament, and how far do you think they can make it in the big dance?
Well, I think ESPN Bracketology currently has ASU at a 3 to 5 seed, and I think realistic expectations to go to the dance Sweet 16. I think they're definitely going to make it there. They've played well enough. They've beaten teams they're supposed to. They've upset some teams. But I think they have some just talent issues. The elite teams, they're playing a different game. There's just such a talent gap in women's basketball. If you take a look at that graphic, the top 5 teams are beating their opponents by 20, 30. UConn almost 40 points, and if you look at ASU, they're not even beating their opponents by more than double digits. And I think that's just because there's a talent gap in women's basketball.
The biggest thing is that talent gap. These UConn teams have 1, 2, if not 3 scorers who they can give the ball to and score every single time down the court, just whenever they want to. On the contrary, ASU has Deja Mann. She averages 11 points a game, and she's the leading scorer. Can anybody for this Sun Devils team step up and take over that role as leading scorer as we progress towards tournament time?
Well, I think it's going to be really important for the seniors to step up for ASU and just provide that leadership. Deja Mann is a very efficient scorer. It's just their team is so balanced, they don't need her to put up 20 points a game. She's more than capable, and in crunch time moments, they look to her to provide that offensive cohesiveness, really. And even Joy Burke as well. They're both fifth-year seniors. They've almost seen it all. And so if those 2 players, if Adrian Thomas, the other senior, really step up, they might be able to make a surprise run into the Elite 8 like they've surprised us this season.
Right, the season has been nothing but shocking moments for the Sun Devils team. They were predicted to finish 10th in the Pac-12 by the coaches. They were obviously 2nd in the Pac-12, just behind Stanford.
A regular season Cinderella.
Right, they've done great things just to come this far. But obviously they don't want their season to end. They want to play for that national title.
Exactly.
So we'll see what happens, but that'll do it for us. He's Zach Pocklett. I'm Josh Franz. Take it away, Cuyler and Trey.
So far, it's been all good news for Sun Devil Athletics in this show, but now we're going to hold that to the test and ask our esteemed colleague, Brett Deckert. All things social media, he knows it. He's got it. Brett, what are we looking at for the tippity-top tweets of this week?
Well, esteemed is correct. Now, for the sake of transparency here at CSL, I want to let you know, Cuyler and Trey have not seen these tweets yet. Really. It's not a big deal, guys.
It's true. We're flying blind.
Except for the fact that you're going to have some explaining to do, especially you, Cuyler.
I'm honestly worried.
Trey, you'll be safe. Don't worry about it.
I never have explaining to do.
All
of my actions are self-explanatory.
Our first tweet, we're going to jump in with none other than Jahi Carson, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. He says, these females ain't loyal to nobody but themselves. That's why I'm loyal to only my family and my squad. Now, guys, Trey and Cuyler,
pronunciation. I think. Yeah.
I just want to let you know you are both near and dear members to my squad.
Well, I'm really happy to hear that. That's important.
We're in
to
the
me.
Deckert squad.
We're in the Deckert.
It's an esteemed club with very few members.
I'm going to add that to my resume.
All right, moving on.
Squad member.
Not necessarily an ASU player, but an ASU friend. It's coming at this tweet to Brandon Landman. Sends shout out to my man Brandon Landman for signing to ASU. The neck. That's a sin.
Wait a minute. Did we do that, or is that the tweet automatically does that?
The tweet? No, we did that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're sorry, Brandon.
Well done.
But
that looked like Drew Brees' neck during that Niners play.
That was not a
I tell you what, though, that's a pretty good tweet. So far, I'm pretty impressed. Let's see what else you got for us.
No explaining yet. So.
Explanation comes right here. All right.
Dear.
It's Das Tatsulatuzzi. Says, can we get the tweet of Das, please? There we go. Texting someone while singing to a song in the background, and then end up texting the words in the song instead of your actual message. Our friends at the NSA allowed us to screenshot Cuyler Meade's phone. Okay. What are you thinking with B-ball? Sure. Trey gets ambitious. He wants Chipotle or Five Guys. Both?
Wow.
Trey?
That's a mouthful.
Just Five Guys? Because I kissed a girl and I liked it. Yeah, Cuyler, I agree. I mean, sorry, Trey, I agree.
I did not
Cuyler,
kiss Katy Perry.
You are the worst kind of person.
By the way.
It does happen sometimes. We just, we're just texting. I've never seen that before in my life. I am pleading. I'm not a crook. These are false allegations.
I don't know. I'm not even a fan of that particular era of Katy Perry. Now,
Cuyler,
if we're talking about a little roar, a little fireworks, absolutely.
Cuyler, I've seen your collection. You have every Katy Perry album.
Be that as it may. I'm just saying I wouldn't just be spontaneously singing along. I kissed a girl and I like it. It's so early, Katy Perry. It's really not my particular oeuvre.
Well, regardless, thank you, Cuyler and Trey. Appreciate it for these 3 tweets of the week. I'll send it back to you guys.
Wait, nothing from Trey? It was just me?
Oh, just
you.
All right, well, we're done with that. Okay, the time has come at last to talk about some football. That's right. We put it this far down in the show because we are progressive sports enthusiasts. Football doesn't dominate our everything the way some much more successful networks may let it, but it did dominate our Wednesday. And we're very lucky to have one of the most qualified men on the planet, Cronkite Sports alum, House of Sparky columnist, and all-around fantastic guy. Jason Galvin is stopping by in studio this afternoon to break down all you need to know about Todd Graham's 3rd recruiting class. Jason?
Hey, Cuyler, this was a big recruiting class for Coach Todd Graham, his 3rd one since arriving here at Arizona State. And there were really a lot of questions about how good of a recruiter he really was. His first recruiting class, he only had a couple months to put together. And then last year, there were so many question marks left out of it. Not getting a big offensive lineman, losing Josh Dobbs on signing day. And people wondered, how good could this class really be, and would Graham be able to keep those players that he got committed early on in the process? So the answer was a resounding yes. This class being called by many the best class in the internet age, and Coach Graham laughed about it at his press conference on Wednesday. He said, I don't know what that means, but I guess it's a good thing. 13 4-star prospects, if you look at the different recruiting sites that the Sun Devils were able to sign on Wednesday, by far the most in ASU history. And there you see some of them. One thing Todd Graham did really well again, he reached into that junior college level to get some players who can help right away. Players like Dalvon Stuckey out of Defunct Springs, Florida. Here's a kid, he's only listed as a 3-star on some recruiting services, but he had offers from Alabama and Auburn. Those were the 2 schools that he spurned to come to Arizona State. He's going to slide right into Will Sutton's spot, and right underneath him, Darius Caldwell was late in the game that the Sun Devils got him. He'd been committed to South Carolina much of the recruiting process, changed to ASU at the last minute. He's going to slide right into the Devilbacker spot and replace Carl Bradford. And then you see players like Eric Lauderdale and Deshaun Hayes. They call him Gump. He runs like Forrest is what they say. And there's junior college players all over there going to help. But then there's also the kids out of high school, like Tashawn Smallwood, who they can develop, Manny Wilkins and Colton Gerhart, the quarterbacks of the future for the Sun Devils. And, of course, Tyler Wiley, the local kid who was recruited as a corner, but Todd Graham said is going to play receiver, and Sam Jones, who was recruited as a tackle but will play guard. Those are all high school kids who I would expect to get on the field sooner than later for the Sun Devils. And all in all, this has to be a class that Todd Graham's very excited about. Sun Devil fans should be really happy to see these kids get on the field once spring camp starts here in a couple weeks. There's really some winners here with this year's recruiting class. I'm Jason Galvin. That's it for football coverage here. Back to you guys in the studio.
The Arizona State lacrosse team got some good news this week, as it looks like attackman Dan Davis will be returning to the practice field next week. The junior was third on the team in scoring last season with 48 goals, and the Sun Devils are going to be seeing their first action of 2014 in a scrimmage against Whittier on Saturday afternoon. You can follow along on Twitter at Cronkite Sports and at cronkitesports.com for all updates on the scrimmage. Lots of seasons are on the brink of starting, and we've got you covered on all of them. Jake Garcia and Adriana Torres are standing by to give you everything you need to know about ASU baseball. Guys?
Thanks, guys. I'm Adriana alongside Jake, talking some baseball here. We are exactly 1 week away from the very last ever first game at Packard Stadium. Now, the Sun Devils go into the season 19th ranked, which is pretty exciting. You went to practice last week. How are the guys getting prepared for this?
Well, the biggest thing that I took away from the first few weeks of practice was the fact that this team has developed a great deal of team chemistry. Talking with some of the guys, they highlighted the fact that they inter-squad every single practice, which means guys get live reps in the field, they get to see live pitching, and they really develop game scenarios, and it really unites them as a team. Talking to Trevor Allen, the returning right fielder for the Sun Devils, he also attributes the fact that this team is so closely knit to the fact that they bring back a lot of leaders. The younger guys are buying in to the leaders from their standpoint, and I think it's really going to go a long way once the season starts.
Another thing that a lot of people are talking about going to this season is pitching, specifically starting pitching. Now we're looking at Ryan Kellogg, Brett Lilich, and then Ryan Burr as well to add to that. How will these three guys work together?
Well, the biggest storyline going into the season for the ASU starting rotation is the fact that Ryan Burr making the transition from the bullpen as a closer to the starting rotation. He had a great season last year, but this transition has really given even the professionals a great deal of trouble. I don't foresee that for Ryan Burr, though. He told me that the coaches have been doing a great job amping up his innings in practices so his arm will be at full strength for the start of the season. Looking at the rest of the rotation for the Sun Devils, you see Ryan Kellogg, the obvious ace of the staff, big left-hander, coming off a stellar performance last year in his freshman season. He threw a no-hitter at Oregon State, which was very impressive. Then you said Ryan Burr in the middle of the rotation, getting the starts on Saturday, Brett Lilich rounding out the top three. He was hurt for much of last year, so those numbers are a bit skewed, but he'll complement them nicely. Now, taking a look at it as a whole, the Sun Devils use a lefty-righty-lefty sequence, which means that opposing hitters won't be able to develop any sort of rhythm against the Sun Devil pitching staff, throwing a different arm angle at them each and every day. I truly believe this Sun Devil pitching rotation is really special.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if the left-right-left does work, but the Sun Devils start their season next weekend. That's Friday the 14th, Valentine's Day. First pitch is at 2:30 p.m. against the Baylor Bears. So, hey, I mean, take your Valentine's Day there. I don't know. Maybe they'll enjoy it. I would. So, back to you guys. I'm Adriana, and he's Jake.
Thanks, guys. All right, America. Now you've heard what all our experts think. It's time for you to hear what we think. I know you've been waiting.
What a better way to
I'm
end.
back. Hey, Trey, it's me. Oh, all right. Well, we're back. It's our debate segment here for CSL. Now, you guys know the rules. 15 seconds on the clock. Each one will get their chance. I'll award some points. I can't promise I'll even remember how many points I give out. Regardless, let's begin. First question, will the ASU men's basketball team make the NCAA tournament? Cuyler, go ahead.
All right, I am going to say, and I'm not incredibly confident, I'm going to say yes. I think they have a good enough out-of-conference schedule. I think that the losses that they have against a team like Arizona, for example, one of the best in the country, does not look that bad. Got a couple not particularly attractive losses in the out-of-conference, but It's not a guarantee. They have to win against Oregon.
I'm going to wait for your clock.
They have to do a decent job.
I'm going to wait for that buzzer to go on you.
All right.
Okay, now no way this team is going to make the tournament in my eyes. I don't think they have what it takes down the stretch. Last year, they struggled with this all season long. They've gotten a little lucky this year, won a couple overtime games. This isn't going to continue,
That's
Sun
not
Devil
luck,
fans.
that's clutch.
This isn't going to continue. There's no such thing as clutch. I'm sorry. Debate over.
The debate isn't over, so clearly Cuyler gets the points here.
What?
2 points to Cuyler on
That's
that
ridiculous.
one. -1 for Trey.
Negative
On to the
one?
second question. Sorry, Trey, excuse me.
I'm not sorry.
Second question of the debate. How far will the women's basketball team go in the NCAA tournament? Take it away.
All right. I believe, now Zach Pokleb told me Sweet 16, and I trust Zach Pokleb, but I also believe that they're just that much better. And I don't believe that the general field of women's basketball this year is as competitive as perhaps in other times. I think Elite 8.
Time's up.
I'm not sure. I don't agree. And again, I guess you're just following the debate segment here. This team has won by such small margins. You saw it in the segment itself. It's not clutch. There's no such thing as clutch, people. These are simple sports statistics. If you cannot win, I can't even say that word right.
It's
if
over.
you cannot win,
Points.
okay.
It's over.
Give me the points. Just give me the points.
No, points go to Cuyler.
You gotta be kidding me. I'm getting
sorry.
gypped here.
He got the expert Zach Pokleb. Trey, you can come back on this third
I quoted
question.
an expert.
This is ridiculous.
What will
you
be
quoted
the
and you said
first-
he was wrong.
Trey, I'm speaking,
That's an appeal
Trey.
to authority.
Trey, what will be the first loss for ASU softball this season? Go ahead.
I have to say it's going to be Oklahoma. I'm not an authority on ASU softball, but the Oklahoma Sooners are a dominant team every year. They bring forth such a powerful lineup, and I just can't see ASU being able to get past them. I think Dallas Escobedo has a good chance of dominating on the mound, but it's a question of whether or not ASU's offense can get through that tough
Stop
defense.
talking.
Tyler, go.
Okay. I got
All
both
right,
out.
I'm going to make a bold statement here. I believe it will be tonight against North Carolina State.
That's ridiculous.
Here's a team that only won 3-0 against Creighton softball. Creighton
Doug McDermott
softball,
plays for Creighton.
Not for the softball team. I think that they're still finding themselves. They lose tonight to North
Points
Carolina
up.
State.
Guys, Trey, I'd love your answer on that one. 7 points for Trey
Yes!
Lanthier right
What?
there. It's
Take
a tie.
it,
It's a tie.
baby.
I was keeping score. I remembered it all.
Uh-huh.
That's a
That's
tie.
right.
I love you equally both.
What a debate.
Nice job.
I should have won.
The finish is debatable, but what a better way to end a good old-fashioned debate, though, than to dish out our CSL Awards of the Week. Guys spend their lives trying for one of these things,
I know I do.
and we're honored to have the privilege of choosing the winners. Cuyler, I'm not even sure this warrants a discussion.
It didn't receive very much discussion.
After last night's performance, Jordan Paczynski showed he simply wanted this CSL award more than anybody else.
It was obvious in the way that he played, and as you can see, the Stormin' Mormon was on fire last night. He deserved this honor simply as a Lifetime Achievement Award for breaking the Pac-12 record for career blocks. But he doesn't need your charity, America. He was dynamite with an important double-double in a very close game
Almost
for the
a triple-double.
Sun Devils. Very nearly, although he fouled out in the overtime period. They absolutely had to win this game. He stepped up big, literally. He's had a great season. He's had a great career. He's making a serious bid for Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. He helps the Devils keep their tournament hopes alive. Here is the Big Maple Syrup after the game.
Anytime I can be a presence at the rim, whether that's blocking a shot, changing a shot, taking a charge, like anytime I can do that for my team, that's huge. And I'm in a system that lets me do that.
Now for Coach of the Week, we had a lot of very interesting choices. Charlie Turner-Thorne? Herb Sendek? No, actually, we're just going to go with the guy who brought in a record recruiting class.
That's all.
Here at ASU for
Nothing
the
special.
football team. Attracting top-notch kids to play football is a skill, one that Todd Graham happens to excel at.
Back again, 2 weeks and 3 weeks. 2 awards in 3 weeks.
That might be a record. As
He's
you
the
heard
coach of the
earlier,
last 3 weeks.
the most ever 4-star recruits for an ASU recruiting class ever. The hardest thing to believe, Cuyler, is that this is only his second full offseason at Arizona State.
That's true. And hey, listen, Todd Graham speaks victory, Trey. I'm not even conversational in victory. These players, they like to be spoken to in their native tongue. It has a profound effect on the process.
Todd Graham is well-knowledged in many languages.
Specifically, victory.
There you go. We all like awards, but you know what? America doesn't just want awards.
No, America wants it all.
And that includes the top plays. Here's the best 3 from this week in Arizona State sports. To start things off, we go back to that Territorial Cup matchup. Off the missed three, Sophie Bruner picks it up, puts it back, and the foul! And the foul. You gotta love those and ones, Cuyler.
You do. Do you remember those and one commercials from back in the day? Those were sick. I wish they would do those again. All right, so they won that game. Now, number 2, we're going back to ASU men's basketball. The Danish Dagger for 3.
Who can't disagree with that?
6-point lead. John Gilling makes it 9. Only 30 seconds left in overtime. Sun Devils hold on to win 86-82.
And our top play has to come down to ASU wrestling. Joel Smith, less than 10 seconds to go. Here's what happens.
By Joel Smith. He's going to get this takedown, I think. He's going to get it. He's got to get to that second leg. Takedown!
Incredible takedown right there. Joel Smith had all of Wells Fargo Arena on their feet. Unbelievable play. I was there for it live.
That's extremely exciting. We're so eclectic on this show. We have a number 1 top play that's wrestling. We don't even talk about football until like 10 minutes in.
It's true. It's true. We've got it all.
That's how you keep the viewers.
Yep. That's it. We kept you here the whole time.
Sun Devil Nation, America, it's been delicious. For Trey Lanthier, I'm Cuyler Meade. Good day.